In the aftermath of the mid-air collision between a passenger jet and a military helicopter over Washington, D.C., a rescue mission has now turned into a recovery operation.
That being said, with no survivors expected, the American Airlines jet and the U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter crashed into the Potomac River near Reagan Washington National Airport after the collision. American Eagle Flight 5342 was flying to the U.S. Capitol from Wichita, Kansas. The incident occurred as it was approaching to land at Reagan National Airport.
Ahead of the crash, controllers warned the helicopter it was on course to collide with the passenger jet. Footage captured a small aircraft heading towards a well-lit descending plane before a fireball can be seen. Both plunged into the Potomac River with the plane fuselage splitting into 3 separate pieces.
The helicopter has now been seen at the surface of the river. As per officials, 60 passengers and 4 crew members were aboard the flight, while 3 U.S. Army personnel were on the helicopter. Authorities say they do not expect any survivors from the crash and are working to recover all 67 bodies from the river. According to experts, water conditions were cold enough to cause hypothermia to set in within 30 minutes. The plane was carrying several athletes and coaches from U.S. figure skating as well as 2 Chinese citizens. The District of Columbia Fire Chief has said 28 bodies have been recovered from the river so far. A large-scale recovery operation is underway and boats are still looking for victims and wreckage.
Terminal 1, Terminal 2.
Well, the cause of the crash is under investigation. The National Transportation Safety Board has said that it will leave no stone unturned in the probe. Officials have said both aircraft were on standard flight patterns on a clear night with good visibility. They were in an airspace that is extremely busy with military and commercial craft. But Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has said that the crash was absolutely preventable. According to the New York Times, staffing in the airport's air traffic control tower was not normal. A controller was allegedly monitoring both planes and helicopters, jobs that typically are assigned to 2 controllers.
U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has said those aboard the helicopter were a fairly experienced crew, and President Trump has alleged that the helicopter could have done a million different maneuvers, but for some reason it just kept going. He added that the American Airlines plane was doing everything right before the collision.
After the crash, Trump blamed so-called diversity, equity and inclusion policies under Presidents Barack Obama and Joe Biden for poor safety standards. Building on his wider attacks on DEI practices, Trump has now signed an aviation order rolling back federal diversity initiatives.
I put safety first. Obama, Biden, and the Democrats put policy first. And they put politics at a level that nobody's ever seen, because this was the lowest level. Their policy was horrible, and their politics was even worse.
How you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash?
Because I have common sense, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't. We want brilliant people doing this. This is a major chess game at the highest level.
For more on this, our correspondent Susan Therani has sent us this report from New York. Take a look.
The National Transportation Safety Board is now leading a comprehensive investigation regarding that recent mid-air collision near Washington, D.C. The key steps of this investigation include, first of all, recovering the black boxes of both aircraft, analyzing wreckage stored at Reagan Airport, and reviewing air traffic control communications. Investigators will also look into human, mechanical, and environmental factors, with collaboration with the FAA, American Airlines, and aircraft manufacturers. A preliminary report is expected no sooner than 30 days, while the final report could take months. The investigation aims to determine, first of all, what happened and prevent future incidents. There was a vigil held in Kansas, where American Airlines took off with faith leaders leading the service. President Donald Trump addressed the nation at the White House press briefing room alongside his vice president and his newly appointed transport and defense secretaries, both on their first day of the job. He also talked to reporters while signing executive orders later as well. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.